Welcome to News Mongolia, where we bring you the latest stories and updates from across the nation and beyond. I'm Batsirin Namshar. On the News Mongolia today, Gashuunsukhait Port targets 40 million tons in coal exports this year. Challenging gender stereotypes in schools. The Japanese government's grassroots Ensuring Human Safety Grant Project agreement was signed. For the news, stay tuned. Approximately 70% of Mongolia's exports flow through Gashuunsukhait Port. In 2023, 36.6 million tons of coal was exported through the port. Projections for 2024 suggest an increase, with expectations set at exporting 40 million tons of coal through Gashuunsukhait Port.
With the expansion of the port's facilities, there are plans to increase the number of coal export gates from 4 to 10. A 3-lane road for passenger transit is also planned to facilitate smoother transportation. These developments are expected to enhance the port's efficiency and capacity, accommodating the anticipated increase in coal exports and improving passenger transportation infrastructure. In December 2023, Gashuunsukhait Port introduced automated guided vehicles into its operations. The AGVs at Gashuunsukhait are expected to expedite export operations. 150 AGVs are deployed daily to transport export products, enhancing efficiency and streamlining the movement of cargo at the port. The introduction of AGVs at Gashuunsukhait Port was a collaborative effort between the government and private sector partners to modernize port operations and enhance efficiency. Hangmandat, Shivehurung, and Sikhe ports are also scheduled to undergo automation with the integration of AGVs.
Domestic companies have made a significant investment in introducing AGVs at the ports. To further enhance transportation infrastructure, plans are underway to build a 3-lane road for passenger transit and boost railway transport services.
Smart Ecotrans company has taken the lead in implementing the use of AGVs at Gashuunsukhait Port.
As part of the renovation process, simultaneous customs declaration processing will be implemented across 10 export ports, 4 incoming ports, and oversized port lanes. 30 hectares have been allocated to construct a container terminal for transporting mining products sold through the online mineral exchange. With the launch of the transfer loading terminal integrated into the railroad infrastructure, the coal transportation capacity is expected to increase by 12.4 million tons of coal annually.
With the bolstering of border-port operations, government representatives have emphasized the importance of improving living conditions in the region. Plans are underway to develop healthcare and education facilities to enhance the quality of life for people living in the area and ensure access to essential services.
In a society where gender norms often dictate behavior, there is a growing movement toward breaking free from traditional stereotypes. Among the most pervasive is the notion that boys should suppress their emotions and refrain from crying, a belief deeply ingrained in many cultures worldwide. However, individuals and organizations are increasingly challenging this stereotype, advocating for a more inclusive and emotionally expressive definition of masculinity.
Recent studies have highlighted the harmful effects of suppressing emotions, particularly among boys and men. Research suggests that bottling of feelings can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even aggression. Societal pressure to conform to traditional masculine norms can create barriers to seeking help for mental health issues, contributing to higher rates of suicide among men. Bullying remains a pervasive issue in secondary schools, with recent studies showing that 70% of boys experience some form of bullying at school, ranging from verbal taunts to physical abuse.
For example, guys from senior classes can deliberately provoke with rude comments or bumping people. Sometimes, bullies can call victims to the school's backyard where no one can see them.
In response to these findings, various initiatives have emerged to encourage boys and men to embrace their emotions. Schools are implementing programs that promote emotional literacy and provide safe spaces for boys to express themselves without fear of judgment. Lately, boys have been seeking help from school psychologists. It's a good sign, as instead of suppressing and hiding negative experiences, they are looking for ways to solve issues. The psychologists provide help and support them in overcoming their problems and perhaps helping others in similar situations. Based on some surveys among parents, we have noticed that parents have misconceptions and stereotypes about boys. We're working with parents to provide information about gender stereotypes and getting psychological help. While progress has been made, there's still much work to be done to dismantle gender stereotypes and foster a more inclusive society. By promoting empathy, understanding, and acceptance of diverse experiences of masculinity, we can create a world where boys feel empowered to cry without shame and emotional expression is celebrated as a strength rather than a weakness.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Japan to Mongolia, Masaru Igawahara, along with Governor of Kaiwalta Province, Ochurbat Amatlambatar, formalized the Grassroots Ensuring Human Safety grant from the Government of Japan by signing a contract for the project to be executed under the program. The project, titled Construction Project of One-Stop Service Center for Protection Against Domestic Violence in Kaiwalta Province, aims to establish a one-stop service center for domestic violence protection in Yusumbulaksom, the heart of Kaiwalta Province. Presently, the existing service center encounters challenges in delivering assistance due to space constraints. With the inauguration of the new center, it is anticipated that victims of domestic violence will receive aid and support in a secure and confidential environment. The government of Japan has been actively implementing the grassroots program in Mongolia since 1990.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. Election Commission results on Monday showed that President Vladimir Putin has secured a third term with an overwhelming number of votes in an election that held little suspense after the harshest crackdown on the opposition and free speech since Soviet times.
Russia's Central Election Commission said Monday that with nearly 100% of all precincts counted, Putin got 87.29% of the vote. Central Election Commission Chief Ella Pamfilova said that nearly 76 million voters cast their ballots for Putin, his highest vote tally ever. After facing only token challengers and harshly suppressing opposition voices, Putin was set to extend his nearly quarter-century rule for 6 more years. Even with little margin for protest, Russians crowded outside polling stations at noon on Sunday, the last day of the election apparently. hitting on a opposition call to express their displeasure with the president. Early Monday, Putin hailed overwhelming preliminary results as an indication of trust and hope in him, while critics saw them as another reflection of the preordained nature of the election.
Russian presidential election took place amid a clampdown on dissent in the country. According to the state TV, Putin had won 87.3% of the votes, which corresponds to over 76 million people in absolute numbers. Critics see the results as another reflection of the preordained nature of the election. Polling stations across Russia closed on Sunday, the last of 3 days of the presidential election.
If Putin had announced that he had won 56%, then they would have said, well, yes, these crowds at the polling stations and these anti-Putin ballots, there are many of them, but this is still less than half. But when they try to nullify them, as if they didn't exist at all, and the result is portrayed as if there were no ballots nor crowds, then these results are worthless.
We don't expect anything. Everything is fine. We keep on going. Nothing will change. We keep going the way we're going, so everything will be fine. He's our leader, the majority supports him, and now indeed the special military operation is ongoing, so it's better not to change horses in the middle of the stream.
I hope that Putin will keep his promises and put them into practice. He has been trying it for a long time. I voted for him, so I hope that he will be able to bring Russia out of the not-so-good, in my opinion, situation where we are now. And I hope that the special military operation will end with our victory.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for Mongolia and the world major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Wednesday with more news and updates. Goodbye.